the window had been busted out and part of our gear had been stolen.
There's nowhere to play up here at all.
I'm sitting there kind of by myself, like waiting for my marriage, and the mirrors, like the mirrors kind of like spin open like 90 degrees, like they kind of rotate open, and all these women in sexy lingerie can come walking out from behind the mirrors.
I'm just going to throw this out there that it almost sounded like you were kind of the dark side sometimes of the scene.
Just when I'd parted ways with Monuments, and so it was really, really desperate time of my life.
At the end of it, our bass player told us, like, he just looked at us like, yeah, this is my last show.
So, like, basically back to the Beast era.
Dealing with this alcohol intake, and we're at a Christian festival, and we're supposed to be a Christian band. I was kind of like, man, this sucks. This is not a good look.
Hello, everyone. Back again here at Dark Side of the Scene. I'm your host, Brandon, alongside Ed.
So,
what's going on today?
I didn't have a rant until like earlier, and now all of a sudden, like, I had seen a post about this new venue. I don't know if they're just open or what. I don't know much about them. I just hear they're just kind of getting started, but like earlier they posted about a show today, starting an event, Facebook event today for a show that's starting Saturday. So
2 days of promotion.
Do you see the problem here? Like, I don't know if like who's in charge of this place. I mean, I don't run a venue at all, but I've helped some places get shows and put together some, but that's not my job because I don't really want that. It's bad enough I have to like find shows for my own band. But like a place should not be doing something like that. Or if they like reach for help. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, I don't know why they would even want to book a show and then, or excuse me, start an event for a show that's going to happen in like 2 days. Like, that's kind of weird. I don't know
who's going to show up for it and who did agree.
I don't know.
Like, who agreed to play for it, and even if it's been booked for a while, how come no one is bothered to promote it? That falls back on the promoter, the venue, and the bands.
Oh, completely. And I don't think I've ever heard any of the bands going on. And I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't mind something to happen around here as far as the other venues. Like, another one should open up in his place of all these dead ones. But like, how do you? I don't know. Like, that's kind of weird to me. Like, how?
Maybe it's really not even going to be a venue. It's really just an undercover sting operation.
Could be, but like, ask for help if you think you got the resources in the venue to do so, and you're not really sure. Ask for help. Like, you could post anywhere, literally. Like, hey, I'm starting up a venue. Like, what are tips, or can someone help me get started? I don't know where. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to give them too much flack because they just kind of are starting, but like, it's not a very good start, especially like for the bands that are going to play and there'd be nobody there. And then the venue's going to be like, well, that show didn't do too well. We shouldn't have shows like that anymore. I could see them like turning that around.
Yeah. Well, if it's an actual venue, then I could see that. But if someone's renting out a building, they don't give a shit. They're getting their money one way or the other.
I don't know if it is. I mean, I feel like they rent out that building for things, but they're supposed to be like a venue too. So I feel like those don't last very long. I mean, I'm not trying to hex.
I used to rent buildings and book shows, and yeah, someone always had a little too much fun, apparently. Ruined it for everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, especially in that town, but I won't mention the town because I feel like nothing good ever stays in that town. Not my town, just that town.
As long as someone doesn't take a shit in the sink, I guess it'll be okay.
or tear out the urinal.
Yeah, rip the urinal off the wall. And the funny thing is about the guy that took a dump in the sink, I'm pretty sure I know who did it. And then he was super mad when he's like, "What? Someone did that? That's fucking up. Who would do something like that? I'm gonna kick their ass." So they come to find out after the show, everyone said it was him.
That's like the, yeah.
I was like,
Mm.
no, it makes sense of why he got so overly mad about it. Like he wasn't in a band, he was just a guy there, and he like got so mad that someone would go and do that, and everyone's like, he's the dumb fuck that did it. But
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
mean,
yeah, I used to work with a guy, so
Mm.
and it didn't surprise me when they said he's the one that did it. I was like, yeah, it seems like something he probably would have did.
Oh man, those excuse me, cereal shitters. I mean,
They're
pissers are different because you don't really know that that's piss. It's just beer on the floor. But is there cereal pissers out there? Like they
people
just
just piss
piss.
all over.
Yeah, and like they just assume it's beer because nobody's gonna like go down there and sniff it.
I don't know. I don't really
I
want to
think
know.
like that could be a phenomenon, like cereal pissers.
Or the cockroaches that live in the bathrooms of most venues.
Well, that's something. You'll always have cockroaches. I'm told, like, if we had a nuclear war, the
There'd always be a
cockroaches,
cockroach.
there'll always be cockroaches.
Yeah. Bastards
Amazing.
are everywhere.
I'm surprised we don't like utilize their technology.
Don't give them ideas. I'm sure they're probably already compacted little nanotechnology to these roaches and they infiltrate other people's.
Roaches aren't real. I need to make a shirt that says that.
Roaches aren't real. Neither's the moon, if you listen to some people.
Oh boy.
We'll just leave that out there.
Yeah.
And on that note, anyone out there listening, if you'd like to be on Dark Side of the Scene, like Dark Side of the Moon, I guess, it's not real. You can send an email to Brandon@darksideofthescene.com and we will get you scheduled on a future episode. Again, appreciate everyone that's been listening to the podcast, following us, everything else. Definitely appreciate it on our end. But we have a guest named Clint who is waiting in the wings, so we're going to go ahead and invite him on in. So hang tight. We're joined tonight by our guest, Clint. Clint, thanks for coming out and talking to Ed and I.
Gentlemen, how are you?
What's up? It's a nice evening, I guess.
Yeah, I
Nicer
pulled a
than
muscle
most of
in
the
my
day.
back.
Oh,
I'm sitting here on the bed, all fucking hunched over. I was out with the dogs, and I don't know, moved wrong and pulled something in my back, so I'm kind of squirming around, but it shouldn't affect anything here.
no. I went to the chiropractor earlier, and it was amazing. Like, because I had not gone in forever. He goes, "Didn't you have a show in Goshen?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, we almost went, and I'm like, I don't want him to go because then he'll see like what I do, and then he'll just not, shake his head. I'm older, but there's
Or
just things you can't be doing
He might
anymore.
be happy that you do it because you keep her coming back for
Probably.
Yeah,
keeping him in business.
chiropractors, I'm not so sold on. I don't know. I've got a bad back and stuff. And
Oh.
it just seems like I've thrown money at him over the years, and I never really felt any different. So
That's
it
'cause
seems,
Gotta play lighter bases.
I am actually. That's
Oh.
one thing I've been working towards is lighter weight, under 8 pounds if I can get him.
Nice.
What is the average weight of a base?
About 9. 9 is like sort of average. Anything in the 8 range is medium to light. Anything under 8 is light. But actually, I'm kind of knee deep in starting a bass company at the moment. I'm kind of
Nice.
in the talking stage. Actually, past the talking stage, we're in the production stage of a few of them to see if I like them, and we'll go from there. One of my little things I'm doing.
That's a good thing, and
Yeah.
So we're starting off good on our Dark Side podcast, but that's good.
Yeah, this is going to be full of positivity, light and positivity here tonight.
Sure.
No darkness here tonight.
Oh. So you say. So I guess, not trying to date you, but so how long have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing around years.
Okay, that's fine. Totally.
About years.
Okay. So you've definitely basically, you're pretty seasoned, obviously, and I know you are because I know you.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm sitting here with a pulled muscle in my back because I turned wrong with the dog. So if that gives you any indication how old I am, but I'm probably the oldest guy you've had so far. I mean, I think I got Dixon by a couple years even. Maybe. I don't know exactly how old.
No, we had a guy
he
from
is,
New
but-
York that was older.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, and he was a
you-
rocker
you're,
too. Yeah,
yeah, in the music business, you're never really supposed to tell anybody your age, I guess,
right.
from what I've heard. But
I didn't ask.
let's just say it was still in the decade of the 80s when I started playing. So
My body feels like I'm in my 80s, so
Yeah,
mine too. Yeah, for sure.
it's all good. I mean, even young TikTokers that shake their thing injure themselves. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
why'd
like,
you got to go to the
well,
chiropractor, Ed? Because you're out there on TikTok again.
yeah, duh. I'm trying to make some money. If playing the metal ain't gonna give me money, got to do something stupid.
It was Ed's his only fans. He did something that he shouldn't have.
Yeah, so I was trying to shave and for somebody and I missed. I don't know. Anyway, so
That's a
during
picture.
yeah, so during all that time, you're obviously seasoned. So I guess I want to take it back and say, like, when you first started a band, like, you ever had any, like, you initially, you play enough and then you start playing with other people, like, so once you get to like your first band and then maybe start playing out, like, did you have anything, like, any bad experiences with that, like,
Well, I'm trying to think of that far back. I mean,
well, it doesn't have
everything
to go that far bad, but
well, I mean, everything was good. Like when you're in school and stuff, and you're playing, and
yeah,
it's all like new and fun. But there'd be dumb shit like somebody would invite you to play at their house or whatever, and they tell you, oh man, we're gonna have a party. It's gonna be like 100 people there, or like 95 people are coming, and you drag your gear and shit, and you have your mom drive you to the big party, and there's like 4 kids sitting around, and 3 of them aren't really interested in that you're setting your band up and playing. There was a couple of those little things, but it didn't get nothing really dark happened for it. I don't know, a few years. I was in a band in the mid 90s, and kind of my first sort of glimpse into anything weird or shady, and I was pretty naive. I mean, so I didn't even really realize at the time, even, what was necessarily going on around me all the time. I was just kind of an aloof, young person, and I'm still that way to a certain extent. But there was a certain venue near a town where I grew up, and we were a metal band at that time. This was I don't know, maybe my 3rd band, I think, by this point.
Yeah.
And we were pretty heavy, probably the heaviest band in the area at the time, playing stuff that a lot of people weren't even thinking about doing. At the time, we were doing like Sepultura and the earliest Pantera.
Yeah.
When White Zombie was kind of brand new. Just, early Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer, and nobody was really playing that shit. So we were playing this one venue, and
The devil's music.
Yep.
Yeah. And we actually drew pretty well. Place was really full. Back in those days, you could fill up the place.
Yeah.
Not so much like it is now, but and we got done, and no pay, no money. We're like, what the fuck? What? Well, come to find out, and I didn't really know at the time, but the guy had a bit of a drug habit. So he's paying, he's busy paying off his drug bills, and he wouldn't have money to pay bands. We weren't the only. I mean, a lot of bands were having that problem. Every weekend, we'd hear from different bands. It's like, oh, didn't get paid or whatever. So he paid us in concert tickets, because they were having nationals come through every once in a while. So he paid us in like Bullet Boys tickets or some shit, and then one of the shows coming through as our payment, they canceled because they didn't get their deposit. So we didn't even get to see the show that they paid us in tickets to see.
My God.
I remember that was kind of a funny ordeal, and we laughed about it then and now. But that place closed, needless to say, shortly after. And who knows? You know, guy had a wee bit of a coke habit, I think.
So it closed because of his dumbass, basically.
Well, yeah, pretty much. And venues,
Uh,
you know, that never lasted terribly long anyway. But I
yeah.
mean, it was a cool place for a short time. But he just fucked it up because he had a habit of putting stuff in his nose. So,
Oh,
that was one of the things, and I don't know, man. I preparing for this, I was trying to think of like sort of really bad shit that could have happened and like the darker side of things, and it's like there was not a lot of funny things sometimes, and like stressful things, that kind of stuff happens quite a bit, but
yeah.
Nothing like where our lives were threatened or anything like that.
That's good.
Probably the the experience I still hear about today was almost shitting myself on stage one night. I don't know if that's something you want to dive into or not, but
I guess it depends on the situation. Were you sick or something?
I mean, it's definitely a dark
that's the
side,
thing.
one way or the other.
Well, it could have been very, but okay, I guess we'll talk about it. My wife loves to bring it up. She fucking brings it up whenever the opportunity arises. Because she was there, it was in our earlier stages of being together or whatever. It was a pretty cool venue, and I must say that if there's any place that I've ever played that would have happened, that was the perfect venue and stage for that to happen. Because the way it was laid out is that there was a stage at one end of the room, and then right off the back of the stage were bathrooms. So like you could just walk down a couple steps and you were basically right at the bathroom door. So if you're gonna have that happen, that if you're gonna feel that coming on, that was the perfect setup. So my idea is, hey, yell over at the singer, hey, guitar solo for 2 minutes, or talk or do crowd participation or something for 2 or 3 minutes here, man. I got drop the bass, go. I'm off the back of the stage, and I don't believe anybody even really noticed or knew what the situation was. But as I'm in there, I hear from the fucking stage the singer explaining exactly what was going on and why I vacated so quickly. And I'm like, you fucking dumbass. It would have been perfect. We could have seamlessly, perfectly sort of, I left the stage. You could have, carried on with something else. I come back. Nobody would have known anything of what was going on until he tells the entire audience, hey, our bass player's in the process of shitting himself back there. So we're going to take a break for, 2 or 3 minutes. So,
that's a dick move for a singer.
And then imagine coming out and having to strap the bass back on, and
they didn't applaud you.
Some did, I'm sure. Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly, but I know my wife probably died of laughter, and anybody else that knew me probably was dying of laughter. But it's like,
it's a normal function. Everyone shits.
Yeah, but that's the only time that the timing has ever lined up in that particular way.
I feel like all my extremities like stay put, like for the whole show. I don't know why. Like I've never had to like go like, oh, I gotta pee on stage. I don't know. See, like,
well, really, somebody needs to do research on that, because that's true. I mean, I've had a lot of times where I felt like, oh, shit, man, should I go, or should I like take a piss first, or what? And whatever happens and you don't get to, and it's like it doesn't bother you when you're up there. I mean, unless you're sick or you get some bug or something.
No, like
it doesn't bother.
Yeah, like I actually had food poisoning one before a day of a gig, and like I kept crapping myself. Sorry, audience. Like I went so many times, and I had to play a show, and somehow magically when I got on stage, I was fine again, up until I got off, and then my stomach was hurting. But like, it's so weird. It's like a strange phenomenon.
Yeah, it's like your mind sort of shuts off certain things, and I think that's why sometimes you can do things physically that you don't we wouldn't normally think that you could do when you're on stage. You know, I don't know if
Right.
that's ever happened to you guys, but sometimes you just do something, you know, whether it's with the instrument or something, and you think later, God, you know, I've never done that before or tried that before, but I was able to do it without much thought. You know, there's some connection or disconnection of mind and body. I think when you're, you know, when you're in the middle of a show.
My
Yeah.
bandmates told me we played a show in Rowan, little. It was down in a basement at a local like pool hall type kid venue thing. We played down in this basement, and they swore to me, and I don't remember doing this. I remember going to the wall because I'm a vocalist, or whatever. And back in the day, I used to be trying to basically just go ape shit, whatever. And apparently, I ran up the wall and like I flipped off of it, but they said my feet were on the ceiling, and you could see my footprints on the ceiling afterwards. I don't remember doing that, but
I'd say that falls into that category.
they claim I ran up the wall into the backflip
Yeah.
off the ceiling. I was like, what? Because it wasn't very high of a ceiling.
Did you stick the landing?
Apparently, like I said, I don't really remember doing it, but they swore
Wow.
I did.
It's the
And
devil's music.
It is the devil's music.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about bodily functions. I have thrown up on stage a few times.
Oh. Well,
I've screamed so
Well-
hard and it just
not alcohol related, just
no, not alcohol. I've never
Oh, I
actually
see.
thrown up because of alcohol. I've thrown up because I've either ate some food prior or
Yeah.
something like that. But anymore, when I did shows, I never ate for like hours. I was like, I'm not puking tonight.
Yeah, a lot of the guys I play with have that philosophy, you know, that we don't, like our singer in one of the bands doesn't eat for like 4 hours prior, and when he does, it's a certain, you know, food or drink or whatever. It's like I'll eat whenever. You know?
No, I kind of learned that too. Like, don't eat hours prior. I don't know. Somehow it just, I mean, you'll whatever energy you get, like it continues on up until like after the show, and then you eat, and then you're tired. You're like a food coma, carbohydrate coma, whatever.
After show
yeah.
food is always the best.
Yes, but like then hopefully you don't have to drive far, because then after that you just want to nap. So,
And it's hard anymore to find a place to eat after a show, you know. That time of the night, man, it's rough.
The Beast did nobody favors there, because I know a lot of people in bands that would get off after their gig and try to find something to eat, and that's that's actually a whole nother dark side right there. Like, you know, all the night owls, where do they eat now? 7-Eleven probably, but like, oh man,
Yeah,
I forgot all about
tough.
that. Mm.
We did find a Denny's though in Battle Creek. We walked in looking really strange, and after the show we had to look like we were just wiped out or whatever. And one of the guys was in a full chainmail. I don't know why this particular gig he decided to wear a full chainmail helmet and outfit and stuff and whatever. Looked cool, you know. He's our kind of our bodyguard guy, big motherfucker. And we walk into Denny's.
I feel well, that town has like a whole metal festival. I don't think that should surprise any of them.
No, they were really cool about it. Like,
that town to me is like the epitome of like hardworking, music loving metal people in that town. I don't know. I admire them. They have a hard spirit there, good spirit.
Yeah, it's so weird that Kalamazoo is so different, so close but so different. It's strange.
They have something going on in Kalamazoo, but not. I don't know. It is kind of mixed because you got venues and you got strip clubs, and then you got like.
Is there a metal scene in Kalamazoo at all?
I think there is, but like, if they're listening to me, I think they're very territorial. Like, I feel like they kind of want to just keep within the area of Michigan before they invite anybody on the outside. But there's like
back in the day, they had the coolest venue in the history of the world with Peppers. If you're probably not old enough.
I was like, that's a venue. No, I never heard of that one.
Then in the front was Peppers, the rock venue, and the back was a strip club.
Oh,
connected to the same building. And boy,
now I'm jealous.
You want to talk about a cool gig? That was a cool place to play, because the stage was fucking full on huge, full on pro lights, sound. I mean, like totally the best stage you'd ever want to play, and then all you got to do is just walk out and then walk in the back door, and tits in your face.
Sweet.
Cool.
I mean, I remember like
Can't beat
there
it.
was. I think they were having like gigs at like the strip club around this area in like North Webster, but I don't think they do that because I'm like my old band. I'm like, man, that'd be awesome.
I don't know that you'd want to do that.
I
that might be dangerous.
I don't know. Like I won't lie. I've always wanted to play like a strip club gig just to see like if it turned out like Roadhouse when they all start brawling and destroying the place.
I've played 2. They weren't that great.
What?
Yeah,
You
no, it's
played?
not as good as you'd think.
Oh, have you played strip club?
Yeah, we talked about it on I think the episode we talked with Chris from New York.
Why don't I remember this?
It was down south of Bloomington.
Oh,
and I said, I think you said something about they had the B team. I was like, I'm pretty sure this was the F team.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, see, I don't remember anything. Huh.
That was 2006, I think,
Mm.
and then 2011 we played at one in Kokomo. Like this one area was like we actually played in that place a few times, but when we did the Battle of the Bands in there, it wasn't a strip club at the time, but it used to be. That's why when we played, there's like these glass mirrors and poles and everything still around. It was strange. But when we played there when it was a strip club, the one side you'd have to come in and there's like 2 separate bars. The one side was like a music area and the other side was a strip club. So you'd come in and go one way or the other way. So we went into the music side and everyone else that came into that place went into the strip club. So we basically played to the other bands while everyone else was getting lap dances.
Oh, that
We need to
sounds
bring
about
those. We need to bring those back. I think we'd have better attended shows if they brought that.
I think so.
That mentality
as
back.
much as like quote unquote sex sells, like that'd be an interesting concept. I know, like, well, I know a lot of girlfriends and wives would not appreciate that kind of gig. I mean, it's bad enough some of them like get a little weird about anybody being in a band, but in that kind of situation, I could only see that start an argument. But whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, no, the girls should probably stay home anyway.
If
That's my opinion.
Just stay up late though. You smell like perfume. No, it's Axe deodorant. Whatever.
If you have a good relationship and you trust your significant other, they shouldn't worry about the fact that you're out there around other people because
exactly
you're not going to do anything wrong. It is no different than watching a movie or seeing it on TV or whatever. You can't even open your phone anymore without someone shaking something on TikTok. So
right. Plus, I play metal, so that's definitely not a magnet to any
I was
other.
going to say that they're all just going to give you that cringy look like you.
Try progressive metal. Jesus, that's
a
chick repellent.
They can't dance to those odd time signatures.
No,
they could try if they were smart. They could. It's not that hard. It's just,
yeah, you got to keep her though. If you can find one to dance in 7/4.
Like, if there are any strippers out there listening, do you listen to Dream Theater and can you dance to it? Just any audience out there, we'll find out. I doubt it.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested.
And if so, DM me, please.
we're interested in to see the results of this challenge.
It's a TikTok Dream Theater like dance.
The dance of eternity. Go.
Right. Literally. So basically, okay, we're back to the peppers, and then
yeah.
Let me see.
See, because I grew up in Michigan, so my first probably, I don't know, 10, 12 years was up in the St. Joe area clubs. Once in a while, Kalamazoo. Once in a while, we'd come down to South Bend area, play Cheers, and wherever else down here. Cheers when they still had the split rail cow fence up in front of the stage. I'm sure my older buddies know what I'm talking about.
No, I've seen pictures of it, yeah.
And we our first kind of big break show, or at least for me, was a couple of opening for national shows at Heartland, which would later become, what was it, Club Fever, and then nothing because they don't seem to want to keep it open. But
Huh.
Yeah, that's late '90s. We played with Quiet Riot. We played with Slaughter. Uh, who else did we play with there? We were on a little run because we kind of got in with the promoter at the time. Who else was it? Firehouse, I think, was the other one. Those were like my first kind of bigger. When I got a taste of that, national, national headline show audience. I wanted to do more of that.
So was it basically those shows pretty good? Like they treated you good and everything, nothing like, like
Yeah.
shystery. Okay.
Well, I mean, I wasn't privy to the business because I was still kind of young and detached from that side of things. I just wanted to show up, play bass, and hopefully get a girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Back then I wasn't so like into that part of it. It wasn't until a little later I started paying a little more attention to the goings on and whatever. But as far as I remember, we were always treated pretty good. Nothing too bad to speak of. I've never been really shit on by national acts or headlining bands or in other bands. I mean, there's been some that were, sort of stuck up a little bit or whatever, but not the biggest acts. I mean, usually the biggest guy, the biggest top tier musicians are the nicest, and then the ones that are the fucking dicks are the younger ones that have just started to get a little bit of notoriety or whatever. They can be cocks sometimes,
Yeah.
like oops, I'm not supposed to say it. Like the band
Sure.
is a younger band that we played with a couple years ago, Acracy, when I first joined them. And they had a little bit of an attitude, they took all fucking day to set up, all day to goddamn sound check, and actually that's a kind of a good story for this show.
Sure.
We show up at the venues outside of Chicago, somewhere West Chicago, I think, and earlier in the day, so like 5 o'clock for load in, you know how it is. And this place was fucking packed. I mean, cars, we couldn't park. I mean, it was just packed. We're like, man, this is gonna be fucking killer, this
Right.
already this many people here. We walk in and it's a School of Rock performance going on. And it's like 15-year-old girls and stuff playing in this venue because there was evidently like a matinee type thing. And it was the School of Rock for the local School of Rock kids. And dude, they were doing an Iron Maiden set, and I'll tell you, they were fucking killing it.
Nice.
I mean, like impressive that these, I'd say from 14 to 18, 19-year-old girls mostly. I think there's a couple boys, but for some reason it's mostly girls, and they were killing these fucking maidens, playing like Aces High and shit. Hell would be thy name. And we're like, okay, this is cool. And we were watching and waiting for him to get done, and it was dragging on, and I was getting to be like 7:30. And then they finally like end their show, and everybody leaves. Gone.
Oh boy.
And this band that we were opening for was a headlining band. I'm sure you know who they are. And we figured, hey, it must be some the secondary crowd then is going to come in after these people leave, and nobody ever really did. I mean, it was like 10 people showed up to see this band, and a good band. The one main dude is really talented. He sort of plays keyboards and guitar at the same time, if you know who that is. And but nobody came to see him. So
this was in Chicago, right?
It was outside of one of the suburbs out there. I don't remember where.
Oh, okay. And it was like a weekday or an evening?
It was I don't know. It might have been a Thursday or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird for like small attendance on a
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know what it was. Poorly promoted or I mean, I would have assumed that they would have done a little better than that.
All right.
But I mean, I think we had the people that were there. I think were there for us. I don't know that they drew really hardly anybody because from what I could see. That was one of them things, you know. You get worked up and then you kind of get deflated and whatever.
Like all the parents left. They're like, "Oh man, my
That's
daughter
that's
got off."
exactly yes, that's exactly what it was. All the parents and the
Well,
friends
who the
and
hell? Who
family
the
of
hell? Yeah, who the hell booked that then? Like, why would you have that on the same night as a? You know
I
what I
would have
mean? Like,
had that. Yeah, I would have had that opening. I would have had them as one of the opening acts, and then that the crowd would have been, you know, killer. You
oh, they
know,
would have
but
left
they,
anyway. I don't know. See, like, I don't
well,
know.
maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Even if half of them would have stuck around, it would have been cool. But it
Uh-huh.
was, you know, it's one of those things. Put your ego in check. As soon as you start thinking you're pretty hot shit, you get a show like that.
That reminds me of like when we first got our drummer Joel. We wanted to play a show in like it's not really Joliet, but it's like a town near there, and it was like this place called Bada Brew. I don't give a fuck. They're closed now, but like it was like a
I think we
Halloween
played
show.
there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool for what it was, but like that night, I think it was like 3 or 4 bands, and the one band brought a shitload of people, and we're like, all right. As soon as that band was done, guess where all the people went? They left with that
Yeah.
band, and I'm like,
Yeah.
those fucking people paid to get in here, and then they're leaving.
Yeah.
So the bar was pretty much like dead, even though it was like a Halloween weekend. I did not understand it, and I'm like, I don't know if this is the Illinois mentality or what. Like, I'm not saying like I wouldn't play there in Illinois again, but like, or maybe there's just
Well,
a cursed bar. I don't know.
different bars and different venues have following, and it depends on what suburb you're playing in too, because
Mm.
it's that area is weird because it's like the way we think of it, it's like we wouldn't think anything of driving, you know, 45 minutes or an hour or whatever across the Chicagoland area to go to a show, but some of those people like driving over to the next suburb is like a big ordeal. It's like, you know what I mean? It's unless it's a big major band, they won't drive an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it takes to get across the area, you know.
That's
So you
fucking
gotta find a yeah, well, you gotta find a venue that sort of has a little bit of a following,
weird.
you know, built in. Like the Brower House always has a pretty decent crowd.
I've been
We've
there.
done
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
we've
cool.
done that a
That's like
couple times.
yeah, that's like if Cheers like expanded larger. That's what
Yeah,
the Brower House would be.
yeah, yeah. And Reggie's is always pretty good because they always have a built-in crowd that's pretty good too.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, Brower House is cool. I just remember like playing there, and well, the only thing that sucked was the weird like backdoor entrance, because you're basically
Yeah,
in a plaza, and like this
right.
long ass hallway.
Yeah, it seems. I think I got lost. I couldn't like find. I was like in the bar, like by the stage, and I didn't realize it. And I walked through and went into some other part of the building, and I'm like, where the hell am I?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that we played there a couple times. It's a cool place. Trying to think. There's a place called Metal Monkey Brewing. It's a little brewing company place that does music, live music, and that was a cool place. That was my first show with those guys.
Hmm. Sounds like a pretty cool venue to play it in general, like Metal Monkey. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right.
Wow. Very I am jealous of Illinois, what they have there and what comes through there, and then back
Well,
down here. Yeah, it's like
I mean, you think about how many people you have in that vicinity versus anywhere else in the area, and it only takes an hour and a half to get there. So
yeah.
it's kind of, you know, it's kind of dumb not to utilize it, but it's getting so hard to get shows anymore. I mean, it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, I feel
to get booked.
Yeah, I feel like again the Beast did no favors, even though like live music was kind of going like at a strange, not a standstill, but like just I don't know. Like
yeah, it was starting to get hard before that. I was starting to know. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Dark Trilogy kind of went on a little hiatus, because I got fed up with just getting, you know, the door shut in my face and not getting any shows. Because I was trying to get over there more than here, and it just seemed like it was getting harder and harder, and gigs were getting tougher and tougher to get on, and I was like, man, fuck this. I'm just gonna...
Right.
So about that time, the Acracy guys asked me to join, and it just sort of fit right in there, and that part was already done for me, and I didn't have to do it anymore.
And and they're located in Chicago, correct? I think, yeah.
Right. They live all over, all over the Chicago area.
So how does like band practice work for that? Like, it seems like obviously you're down here, and then you'd have to go up there like what, once every few weeks, or how does practice work?
Yeah, I don't have to go that often. I do a lot of homework, and they don't expect me to come every time. They they just say come when you can, or when whatever. Like if we were in the writing mode, so I was going once a month or something. They rent a spot in the Music Zone over there on the south side, so every rehearsal spot all set up and good to go. I don't go much at all unless something needs to be done. Actually, I booked this interview here we're talking because we were supposed to be releasing a single and video, the first since I joined, and it was all lined up and ready to go a couple weeks back. And 2 days before, the drummer Juan had a mishap with a circular saw.
Oh,
and actually that's not a bad story for this show, actually, as long as we're talking about it. I don't know how much information he'd want me to divulge, but
sure.
Pretty serious accident with a circular saw, so he is incapacitated for a few months.
He didn't pull a Def Leppard, right?
No, but more of a Tony Iommi. But it's so that put the kibosh on the video being done and the single coming out, and so we're kind of in hold mode for a few months, or at least through the summer, I would imagine.
Oh man.
So I kind of put Dark Trilogy back, maybe in action a little bit. We did a show a couple weeks ago, and looking at doing a couple more, just in the interim. But yeah, I mean that kind of sucks. I was just getting excited about getting this single out, and we had a guy lined up for pro video maker guy in the location and the whole deal, and it's like 2 days before we had to call it off. So bummer.
Yeah, especially like when you have to pay somebody for video. Like those people aren't cheap,
Actually, no, this dude was very affordable. He just sort of does a flat rate, come in and shoot your video, edit it, give it to you, and it does a really good job. I saw some of the stuff he's done, and it's really good for a really good price. So I'm hoping that we're back on track. We can still do it because it was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And the building there at the Music Zone already has sort of.
What's the Music Zone, by the way?
A big giant warehouse converted into music rehearsal space. Nice. So it's like a big, I don't know, like 3 or 4 story like old building, and it's just hallway after hallway with doors that go into separate rehearsal spaces.
Man, I could
pretty cool.
That is cool. Like if I had the money, I feel like I would rent that out to I'd buy the Fever, right? Put up the Fever back and use it for shows, but then use it for like rehearsal spaces so I could still make money during the week.
Let's go in on it, bro.
Damn it.
Let's make it happen. And the top part, the mezzanine, could be the strip club.
I don't know if like South Bend would allow that. That'd be like some hard zoning there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Man,
but yeah,
it would be hard.
That's terrible. Come on. Anyway. Man, because like there's not much strip clubs left down in South Bend in that area, and it'd be on the same road technically,
right?
Like they're trying to gentrify that whole area, and like there's no strip clubs. Anyway,
I don't think that's what the Notre Dame folk want.
I don't see why not. I mean, after the game, they're gonna want to celebrate.
Well,
with, like, boobs, and whatever in their face, whatever.
They could,
I don't know.
Paint them blue and gold or whatever.
Yeah, I should start doing that. See, that's a whole thing with like South Bend. Like we have all, we definitely have our Notre Dame, fans, and but like all the venues downtown like close. It's like, what do they care
Yeah,
about most? Yeah.
I mean, is there anything left in South Bend? I mean,
The Morris.
well, yeah, I guess, but it
McCormick's is
sucks.
much. Yeah, McCormick's doesn't do much of anything other than like
Have you ever
open.
played there, dude? Jesus, we played there once, and it was like playing in
No.
somebody's living room.
Have I played there? No, no. I watched it. I
That's the
watched some.
show we played that dude about got killed. And the paramedics had to take him out in the ambulance.
I shouldn't diss that place because the only one time we did play there, it was a pretty good show.
Oh, I'm definitely
played,
not ditching it, but like we were supposed to
we
play
played
it.
with Daikaiju, or however you say that.
Oh, I heard about that,
those dudes. They're fucking wild.
I have to see
And
that next time they come in. Yeah.
They're fucking wild, and they drew a crowd on like a Monday night.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like usually I'm working, but maybe I'll try to catch one of those shows because I heard it's pretty intense.
Yeah. We wanted. There's no PA. We just like set up on this little stage thing in the corner, no PA, and cranked it. Luckily, we don't
like a
playing
coffee shop
instrumental music.
Yeah. I no we were supposed to play it, and then like something happened, so I'm not gonna ditch. I'm not dissing the place at all. I'd like to play there because South Bend doesn't have a whole lot going on. I mean, they got the garage or the arcade place.
What even is that? I've never even been there.
It's like an arcade bar, but like I think we're supposed to play there, but it didn't work out, and I don't know. I feel like South Bend college kids wouldn't accept our music anyway, so it's almost like it's almost like a gamble, like putting a metal band or any rock band in there that's not like happy college and A for effort if they try, but I could just see the arms crossed, putting it on TikTok. Listen to this shitty band, one of those things. I'd end up on TikTok for that reason. I don't know. So, but yeah, we both feel, we have the same feeling about like things around here kind of dying out. It's like, but yeah, they're putting stuff everywhere. I don't know. I'm really confused as to. Yeah.
We just did the Midway Tavern, and that was packed a couple weeks ago. That was a good show, best show we've had in quite a while.
That place is really small. I don't think I've ever been there. I know where it is, but
it's not as small as it looks. It's
no?
It's kind of long. It's a long like building, and then the stage is at the far end. I imagined it being a little bigger when I'd heard people talk about it, but I mean it's fine. It's cool. It's got a stage and a PA. So
yeah, that's important.
I hate these places that don't even have a fucking stage. That nothing pisses me off more than a venue that can't bother themselves to even like a 6-inch off the ground platform is better than nothing. You walk in and you got to play on the fucking floor. That like pisses me off to no end.
I get you. I mean, it's not very classy. I mean, you think they'd have inflatable? Yeah. Do you think they'd have inflatable stages that somehow like stay?
Well, how hard is it to put a fucking to put a 2x8 with two sides and a plywood top? It's like
wood's expensive nowadays. I guess I don't know. You can find old pallets. You can find old pallets somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we had mentioned the old Wander Inn, which had no stage at one point, and then
that was one of them. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of some other place we played it. But yeah, like
we played with Vertigo at a little place in Chicago, and they didn't have a stage. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So what, they have like some sort of corner, like cut it like a corner, like
it was like a bar, and then one of the part of it, they removed all the tables out of part of it, and just said, "Yeah, that's your area." It's like, oh, geez, come on, man.
How do you play with the double neck guitar and such? Like, I just feel like it needs a stage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, he was fine because he was doing solo, so we didn't have a band, so he was all right. But we were kind of like trying to figure out how to do it, and that's. Speaking of that brings me to a nice nightmare gig we did, which I shouldn't say it was a nightmare gig because it was actually one of my most privileged gigs personally, for me personally, but just the circumstance was fucked up. We played with Tony McAlpine,
Sick.
and it was at Reggie's, and I had originally thought, oh, it's going to be at Reggie's on the rock club side, but it wasn't. It was on the small side. You've been there probably on the small half,
Mm-hmm.
and of course it's smaller stage and whatever.
Mm.
So we get there and we didn't realize that he was carrying tour support. So he had a 5-piece band opening for him.
Hmm.
So if you've seen that stage there on the small side of Reggie's, it's not terribly big. I think the Cheers stage is bigger. Actually, I know it is. And at the time, he had Achilles Priester as his drummer. I don't know if you know who that is.
Holy shit! He had that kit the whole time, or
he had that kit. He had
No
like the
fucking
whole
way.
the like 3 bass drum, but fucking that kit, right? And then Tony
Wow.
has keyboards and a guitar amp, and then his bass player. Okay, so that's on that stage, and we get there, and then there his tour support sets up then in front of that. So
Wow.
it's a 5-piece metal band with big amps, big double bass kit now on that stage. So we look at it, it's like a half an hour to showtime, and we're looking at this stage and it's full. So we set up on the floor in front of the stage with the monitors behind us pointed the other direction.
Wow.
And that's how we played that show, is on the floor in front of the stage, in front of all the gear and whatever. But I was happy to do it because that dude is one of my favorites. He's like bar none one of my favorite musicians.
Yeah.
So I just considered myself lucky to be there, I guess. That first record of his, man, that probably like was my gateway for instrumental music, as a matter of fact. That Edge of Insanity record with Billy Sheehan and Steve Smith. Just like, anyway, whatever.
Yeah. Now Steve Smith, he's such a good drummer that like he basically can whip your band's ass with just a snare drum. That's just how it goes. And he plays with like old man loafers. He's so good. Anyway, like no, like I've been to Reggie's one time in my life. Like I saw a show there, and after many years of it being there, I decided to go. Like it's weird how it's set up. It's almost like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like play set. I don't know, like you got those cages on the side, and the way it like it goes down, and then it's got like concrete seating. It's like it's like the lair for the Foot Clan. I'm like, I don't know what it used to be. Like I never looked in the history of that whole building, but like it's a different building. It's very strange.
It's a haunted building, from what I've been told.
I'm sure it's gotta be older than dirt, but like I don't understand what it used to be. I'm like, was it like a factory? Like I'm gonna look into it after we're done.
Yeah, I've never actually asked that, but I did talk to somebody who was telling me about the haunted portion of it, because I'm into that kind of shit. So
that's fascinating.
So you haven't seen the small half of Reggie's then? You were
the
probably
restaurant.
in the concert side.
The restaurant.
Yeah, there's the restaurant and bar and stage. Yeah, the second. That's where we play, like when we do our own like headline shows, is over there.
Okay.
And that's where McAlpine was. I don't know why they put McAlpine in that side, but
oh no shit, that's even like. Wait, so you're saying you played the restaurant part?
Yeah.
Holy shit, there's like nowhere in there.
Right.
I
mean, it was packed, especially with us on the floor. And people like literally like I couldn't move my headstock one way or the other because I was going to hit somebody. I mean, that's how that people were standing right there, like in my face, no way around it,
Damn, that makes it even crazier, just because I thought it was the concert side, the Ninja Turtle there.
No. Yeah, it was the restaurant side. So
Brandon, have you been to Reggie's ever?
No, I've never been up that way.
Oh man, you should check that venue out. It's definitely different. Like what the hell?
Played a show on the outskirts of Chicago that had a checkered floor, but I don't remember what it was called. That's the only time I've ever been up in that area.
Yeah. So the other time that we were cramped like that was with the Sons of Apollo show, because it was a similar situation. That was in at the Music Factory. So that stage is bigger, but still, when you consider consider their gear, and then they were also carrying a 5-piece metal band with them, and then their gear, and we had like this tiny little. I mean, there was a tiny little area for the drums, and then I had a tiny little area like where there was nothing, and poor Joe, he he couldn't even have his pedals in the same area where he was standing because of the way things were set up and the monitors and stuff. And of course they didn't want to move. I mean, see, if I was the middle band in that scenario, I wouldn't be a dick and leave my shit. I mean, even though it's more of a pain in the ass, I would move our drum kit off. It's just so the other band could have some room or whatever. But
Right.
some of these bands just don't want to fucking do that. But and I guess I understand why they don't, because the stage managers, they call the shots anyway. But
Right.
So it was to the point where Joe was like freaking out. He's like, "Oh man, I don't know that we should do this. I think we should. I don't know if we should go." And I'm like, "Dude, we're already set up and sound checked and playing in 5 minutes." It's like we're doing it,
Yeah. I think I was at that show because, or
Were you?
or maybe it's the second. No, I was at both of them. They played. Man, I don't remember. I watched them there twice, and like,
Okay, yeah, they played right before the Beast came through town.
okay.
They played there, and but I couldn't go to that one. But yeah, so you saw them both. Cool.
Yeah, because like I'd never played the Music Factory until like later, and like I thought that door was maybe like a green room style thing. I'm like, oh, okay, they got a green, and then like when I went there and finally played, I'm like, this is just the outside. Oh my god,
Right?
like
Yeah, bands don't really like too much that there's no green room there. I've heard from a couple
It's
people,
literally
but they
just
were
like
supposed to build one.
yeah, it would take like a few feet out and then just like expand, and then you'd have
Yeah.
like I mean,
Well, Jeff was telling me he tried to do that. He tried to get that done, and they for some reason they didn't do it, or they didn't let him do it, or something. There is some shenanigans with that venue going on. He was telling me about last time we played there. It kind of sucks for him.
I know it's like in the middle of nowhere, and you got all these huge, like, dirty factories around. Like, what does it matter if you expand a small building that's trying to have some like upbeat thing going on in such a strange
I heard
neighborhood?
that they started they started fucking with them after. Actually, I want to say it was that second Sons of Apollo show that somebody got pissed off. I think doors were delayed or something happened, and somebody got pissed off and like alerted the fire marshal to the capacity, and now there's some bullshit where they've capped his capacity, and it's keeping him now from getting some bigger shows that he'd want to get, because they're going to fuck with him on the on the capacity.
There's always some sort of stipulations and regulations that they always have to fucking put their stamp on.
If that person out there is listening, you're a fucking dick.
Yeah, suck a dick.
Yeah, suck my dick. Suck their dicks. Anyway, it just takes that one fucking Karen to ruin everything, which is like, it's kind of weird because I've never gone to a show where I'm like, this is like, there's too many people here. Like, I don't know, maybe they have like flashbacks.
Well, they were butthurt. They were the way he told it to me is they were fucking butthurt or whatever. They had to wait outside for longer
that's
than they
so
thought.
I mean,
so
if you're in Chicago, you'd have to do the same thing. You're gonna call the fire marshal then? I mean, yeah. So stupid.
I've played a show before, and honestly, I'm sitting there trying to remember where it was, but they were doing head counts when people came in because they could only have like so many people.
Right.
And I forget where this was, but I was like, it was like 100 and something, 200 and something people. I was like, I don't think you have to worry about that. That we're gonna hit that capacity tonight, but no, I've noticed before that they do.
Yeah, they definitely don't have to worry about that when we play. It's like no head counter needed. Progressive instrumental band, nah. we don't have to worry about.
Thanks, Great White. Put them. Anyway,
you getting hot in here?
Yeah. No, I get like safety and everything. Is so it matters because you want to get everybody out there in case something goes wrong. But like, you don't got to be a dick. You know?
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, because I bet you that person's still calling the cops on when, like, during the Beast era, there was too many people in the house, in their houses, their
Yeah,
neighbors.
yeah, that's the kind of person that would yeah call the authorities because you had a barbecue.
Yeah. So, any other like strange happenings or whatnot of like
Um,
some noticeable things? Like,
you know what? I wrote them. I jotted a little list down in the notes,
sure.
but it's in my phone now, and I don't think I can get off this screen
Oh, gotcha.
to go back and look at my notes.
That's
Let me see if
funny.
I can. Let me put my brain power to use and see if I can remember what I had jotted down there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clint is actually a bass player. We need more bass players. Just,
Oh yeah,
I,
no, you
I,
don't need.
I no,
Last thing the world needs.
I go on a rant that we need more drummers and bass players in the world. So, like, you
Yeah,
uphold the flag high because you're a bassist. You're not a
and
guitarist playing a bassist. You're actually a bassist.
yeah, and it never was that type that came over from guitar or was like, you know, settled on bass or whatever. I was
Yeah.
never that. I never took that route. It's like I wanted to be a bass player, like from the
We've
beginning.
actually interviewed a lot of bass players if you think about it. Like Clint,
Yeah.
James, Chris. I think the one of the other guys we interviewed was a bass player too. I was like, just now thinking about it, I was like, we've actually interviewed several already.
And we need more in the world. It's like for the younger generation, like
They can
you know,
be
I should
the
I should
go-to
see if
guy to
I
come on the
can get a
podcast.
couple. I should see if I could get you guys a couple good ones. I know a couple, bigger name bass player guys that are just super cool dudes. I
yeah.
should see if you guys.
But in general, like, we need more bass players in the world, like, just to fill
Yeah,
out the
yeah.
bands, because there's, our area, there's a lack of them and drummers. Like, it just
Oh,
seems like
and
a
you know
lot
what
of
else
places.
is what's just as bad as singers that are like singers. I mean, nothing against metal singers or
Right.
screamers, but there's virtually no singers in in the world.
That's true, I guess. Like, it's or
A few girls maybe, but it's like if you think about it, the art of singing with dudes is not a thing anymore. I mean, it doesn't seem to be.
yeah, I guess you're right. That's kind of a lost art, or slowly becoming lost, because
Yeah.
everybody wants to sing, like, I don't know, country, and that doesn't take much to sing. Sorry.
Well, yeah, either
Not
that, yeah,
modern. Not
either
modern
that or
country.
it's the metal thing. It's there's not anything in between.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't think about that. Huh.
I know a few, but not very many.
Singers, like regular
Yeah.
singers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, they all want to be in cover bands and do that thing, make the money.
I don't think that's good for your voice though. Like, playing for 4 hours in, like, a smoky bar is not, like, the best for your voice, in my opinion. I don't think it
No.
is.
This was a few years ago, and it really jerked my chain because I found out how much one of these cover bands that played here in town was, and this was, like I said, this was at the old bowling alley at the bar that they had attached, and it was a random Saturday night. They paid them a fucking $1,000 to come in there and play. I was like, $1,000
to be a jukebox.
$1,000 to be a cover band. I was like, there's 4 guys in the band. I was like, they're all walking away with $250 if they split it.
The tribute bands piss me off too, because it's like, I mean, that's where the world's going. I mean, it's really kind of fucked up and depressing. Actually, we just went. My wife and I went a couple weeks ago to see the Prince tribute act. I think it's called the Purple Experience.
In Angola?
No, it was in Chicago when we were over there.
Okay.
The dude is fantastic. I mean, he's like he's on the jazz charts and stuff, the Billboard jazz charts, and he's a legit musician. And he was associated with Prince back in the day somehow, and he actually got his blessing to do the tribute and all this. So he's like the sanctioned tribute act. And I was talking to him after, and he's like, and I was telling him that I was do original music and metal and whatever, and he's like, it sucks for you guys because that's going away. He says he says not only are things like me and taking it, but he goes, and we got into a discussion about AI and this chat GBT shit or whatever it is. And he's like, that's gonna kill it. You realize that, right? He goes, it's done. And I said, well, yeah, I don't know. And he goes, no, dude, it's done. He goes, I put in the criteria to write such and such a song, in my style, blah blah blah. And he said the fucking thing spit out something as good as I could write, and I told it to put a Prince flair on it and make it sound like Prince wrote it. And he said it spit it right back out at me 2 minutes later, and it sounded like a perfect Prince song. And he goes, it's done. And he said the bands that do still do it real, he goes, nobody's going to believe them if they tell them, because it's going to be able to be faked. He goes, you could write the coolest song in the world and people will go, yeah, sure, okay, you wrote it, whatever, I bet you did. And he goes, it's a bleak outlook. He said, he said, unless you're a legacy act, or unless you're a tribute, act to a legacy act, he goes, it's done for everybody else. And I went, oh, thanks for the pep talk. It's like,
what is this AI
like
thing called? I've heard it before, but I don't know what.
Chat. It's
there's
chat.
several.
I don't know if it's GBT or G something. Chat GBT. I think. Somebody correct me. Whatever. Fuck off. But it's you put in all the information, and it will either write a story, write a thesis, write a song, whatever you're trying to do, and spit it back at you, and in near perfect reproduction. I've been messing around with the art of it. There's like apps that you can do the art on, where you can give it a description of what you want, and it spits out images like within 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mess with that stuff too.
And that's fun, but I can see how that will kill artists and digital artists, because I did our last album cover for our last single with it, and I sat there for an hour and just popped out like 50 different versions of a cover until I got one that I picked. And it's a similar thing, I guess, would happen with music. As long as you put in the right criteria, it will make it for you.
Is it a bad thing though to like use that for art versus probably paying somebody with a art degree when you could probably get a real job?
Well,
kidding.
No, I can see there. I do know artists that are pissed off about it too, because it kind of struck that world first.
I've seen a lot of so-called artists now using these programs and trying to sell the artwork.
Yeah.
And claiming that they're artists. I'm like, I mean, I can make the same exact stuff too, and I'm not a fucking artist, and I'll never say I am an artist. But I told a computer program to make something that looks like this, and it did.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not even necessarily a Photoshop thing. I mean, some people were calling artists cheaters when they were using Photoshop. This is like, you don't even have to do that. And you don't even have to put the shit together. You just type in a couple sentences of what you want, but yeah, I mean, that had me wondering. It's like, man, what in the way that the way technology is moving, it's not going to be long. It's not like it's 20 or 30 years down the road. It's like it's happening now. It's just like a matter of time though before we start seeing it like in the mainstream, and then you can't differentiate what's fake and what's real.
Like most of the Marvel movies.
Oh yeah, fuck all that.
That's different. Yeah, but like I was wondering, like, yeah, like it could probably make a cool song, but like, and somebody could probably like, let's say like I used it and I said, put this in and then this, and then I want to hear a song it makes. I feel like that, I guess that is cheating in a way, but if like somebody goes to decipher it and actually records the song themselves, and out of that, and actually performs it live, is that a bad thing, or is that shitty of that person not be able to use their songwriting abilities?
You mean if they recreate it live?
Correct.
Good question. Well, then
Because
you're cover. Then you're a
you're
cover.
you're a cover
artist.
band of an AI idea.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
definitely interesting. I mean, because
No,
in a way,
it's
yeah. Hmm.
Who
yeah,
would know that the
it's
AI actually
tricky.
wrote it though? If you don't go out and tell people the AI wrote it,
Right. But
that
like,
that
you're also setting a precedent of like, that's how your music should sound, since that's what the AI told you to spit
now if
out.
it you keep putting in the same commands consistently and just change things up here and there, it would produce
I,
different material. It would still
I've
sound
never used it,
similar.
so I wouldn't know like what to put in next for the second song. Like, I'm trying to think of ideas like for thrash. You know what I mean? There's only so many words you could probably use in it. Or is it?
Yeah,
Is uh,
I will stay away from it just because it's it's weird and scary and threatening to what I
well,
like
a
to
little bit,
do
but I
and
feel
whatever.
like, yeah, I feel like it doesn't have a life anyway. It's not like a living thing. Like, naturally, people are inclined to sing naturally. Like, that's just their thing. Versus like a,
Yeah, but look at how
yeah.
many singers are faking it.
Well, that's
You know,
because, yeah, that's because they got dumbass excuses. But like true singers, like, that's something they've developed or they kind of were born with.
and I would
And
hope that live music stays around forever and that
right.
people want to see a a live performance. But I mean, it's starting with bands like ours. They're, the performance aspect is starting to go away
Mhm.
unless you're the big band, the legacy artists. I mean, in fact, the last couple concerts I went to, there was no opening band. In the
Huh.
spot that a band like mine or yours would have normally been playing, there was nobody. The show the ticket said 7:30. The show started at 7:30. At 9:10, I was walking out of the venue. I mean, that's been the last two shows I've been to, and
Huh.
it's like, are they phasing it completely out, except for the name on the ticket or the tribute band of said big band? I mean, is it starting to go away slowly?
I feel, well,
You
no,
know,
because I don't. It depends on who you like. Like, I went to Joliet and saw three bands, and like, again, it's one of my favorite bands, and then two I've never seen before, and like, I walked away feeling happy. It's because it still hits me to hear like actual artists still doing whatever. And this other band, they're a band from like Danish or something. I don't know, but they had like all these folk instruments on there, like a weird hurdy gurdy. I'm like, what the hell is that? And like a violin,
cool.
and those were real. They weren't like faked instruments. And they had a guy playing the bagpipes, and like, it's just that, what's it called? Pagan folk metal. I can't pronounce the name right now. I
Yeah,
don't sound like an ass, but like,
Celtic.
it's not Celtic. It's definitely like pagan, like Danish. Uva Lady,
All
I
right,
think that's her name. My friend Corey's
all
gonna
right.
kind of get mad at me for saying it wrong, but Uva Lady or something like that. And they actually have like folk instruments, and like the girl that sings really, really fucking good. I don't think she was faking it at all. I mean, it's still, because they're European. They're not gonna fake that kind of stuff. That's kind of like in
Yeah.
their folk roots. But like, I don't know. It just gave me
Well,
a good feeling
I
that, yeah.
I think stuff like that will hold strong in Europe for a lot longer than here, though.
Right, but like the
Um,
show is almost sold out in like Joliet of all places. Like, it's
yeah,
like it makes
that's
me
a cool
happy.
venue.
Yeah, it is cool. I was worried about like the pillars falling, but I doubt it. That's the scary part about it.
Or seeing somebody crash into one of them while they're playing.
Right, or is it
It's weird to have a
moshing?
pillar right in the middle of it's just kind of strange.
Yeah, yeah. It's a strange building, but whatever. But again, I feel like it depends on what you're listening to. Like, I don't feel like it's completely gonna be zoned out. It's just like, but I mean, like, obviously, you got like SoundCloud rappers and all that other stuff, and they do
Yeah.
what they do. But like, yeah, it's a huge thing right now. But in a way, like, I don't feel like, it's a slippery slope, I guess. Like, I feel like there's still some spirit out there to keep music going, but as long as these venues keep playing, it's like, it's gonna be, like that dude said, it's gonna be really hard for anybody. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hope that people get burned out of the technology too, and they want to go back to more basic, you know, seeing a live band play live. You know, you got to hope that people get sick of the fakery shit and the prefab shit, and you know, and want something raw and live.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to hope that there's enough of people that want to see that.
Yeah. I mean, and we got
Still,
like a
you know,
we got a lot of like, I don't know, Andy McKee and like who's that other guy? Like a lot of acoustic players, they get pretty good shows still, like just by the crazy stuff they're doing on acoustic. But it's like at the core of it, it's an acoustic, like only been playing like in a different way, like almost percussive style. And it's like
right.
that's at the core of it. It's just like a dude with an acoustic guitar, and it's like wow. I mean, yeah, there's some hope, but yeah, I get like sometimes it feels like
I just see a lot less opportunity, and that's kind of what started making me think that maybe it is going that way. Just because, I mean, I used to be able to reach out to different promoters or venues or whatever, and get shows or at least get responses like, well, no, not for that, but we'll keep you in mind for this. Now I just get fucking ignored. You know, it's like, is there so many people in their inbox, or are they just not bothering to even book bands, you know, like ours at all? You know, just kind of weird. You know,
yeah. I felt
that's
like
why I
that
like joining Acracy, because I didn't have to. I wasn't the guy doing that shit. You know, so I could just show up and play bass and not have to worry about it.
I wish I had that job, but sometimes I have to like book. I mean, we're kind of equal, sort of, but like I do the majority of like looking around just because maybe I don't have a life. I don't know. I don't want to be in charge, but sometimes it becomes easy after you've done it for so long. It's like, oh
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're getting it done, yeah, by all means, you know, you're the right guy to do it.
I don't. I wish I could get paid for it, but whatever. Nobody gets paid.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
Good luck with that.
But see, like even through all this, like you still continue to want to play bass. You still your passion hasn't died, which is like really important.
I try to get up every morning and play, man.
See?
Even this far down the line, if I don't have any time in the morning to play, it bums me out. It kind of pisses me off for the day. But I like to get up and eat and put the bass on for anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour if I can, and I'm even late getting out the door a lot of times just because I'm on a roll playing something cool or fucking with my tone or whatever. Pretty soon I realize, shit, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I hate that feeling too. Like I'm actually like, it feels like I enjoy it more when my time is shorter than if I have extra time. It's weird how that works.
Yeah, I mean my time is morning because nobody else is awake yet. I got the cats bugging me, but that's about it.
Right.
And I can just sit and do whatever. That's when I work on recording, if I'm doing that or just playing.
So like basically back to the Beast era, like did that affect you any, like as far as musically, or like did you just kind of push on through?
Fucking Beast didn't affect me for shit, man.
That's how I felt. It's
like
I was like,
I went to work every fucking day. I got up every day and did the same shit. The only thing was I couldn't do some of the stuff that wasn't going on anymore. Like one of our businesses was crushed because we couldn't gather. So but we went to online stuff and we did that instead. Of course, we couldn't do shows, so that part changed. But other than that, fuck that bullshit.
As long as I've known you, I actually don't know what you do is like the job. I thought you just play bass and you just get paid for looking like a bass player.
Oh yeah, right. I do a bunch of shit actually. I own a heart. What's that?
If you're not in liberty to say, you don't have to.
Well, I mean, I own a hardwood flooring company that I do hardwood floors.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah. And my wife has a business that I kind of co-operate with her. And then now I'm starting the bass company.
Made out of hardwood floors that you ripped out of houses.
Yep. I'm not building the bases.
Okay.
Some people think that I'm like here in my little fucking wood shop building bases, and I'm not. I tried to do that. I've attempted it twice, and I almost got there, but not quite. Not to the level of where I'd want to sell them.
Right.
I don't have all the equipment, and more than anything, I don't have the time.
Sure.
So the stuff is being sourced, and then I figure I'll be doing about maybe 30%. I'm gonna be doing all the work on the necks and the finish work of the necks and that kind of thing, and but everything else is going to be CNC cut overseas and then just sent to me that way. But yeah, and that's all I do. I work about every fucking day.
So
I'm not
yeah,
not the kind of guy that's going to sit at the beach on a Saturday.
No. So basically, like, that's the whole you coming out with a base. Is that basically a good thing from the Beast era, or just did you ever imagine this happening to you? Or just...
I've thought about doing that for a while.
Okay.
I kind of got pissed off at a certain company. That was the impetus of it. It's not the whole thing, but it was
Gotcha.
that's what got me thinking initially about it, as I was playing these bases of a certain company, and I know the primary guy, the primary endorser of this said company, their top endorser, I know. So I started playing these bases, and it came to a point where I had a few of them too, and it came to a point where I wanted to get a couple more, and I wanted to talk to somebody at the company, and nobody would fucking call me. Nobody would return an email. Nobody would return a message. I mean, I was like ignored, and nobody would like talk to me at this company. I didn't want free shit or anything. I had a couple like questions before I spent more money with this company, and they just fucking blew me off like I was a fucking turd, you know? And I said, fuck this. And I just took all the bases to a shop and dumped them. And I said, I'm going to put together, a company. I'm going to probably be having my shit made in the same factory that theirs is. And I'm going to put my own brand name on it. And if anybody wants to ask me a question about it, I'm going to fucking answer them. I'm going to write them back and, gift wrap it for them.
Shout out,
what I mean?
Shout out to the company that ignored your customer.
Yeah, fuck that. It's guitars.
Sure. I feel like that's another thing. Like, if you're just a little guy, a lot of these companies ignore you. I'm not saying they all do it. There are some that are amazing with their, like customer service. Like, they'll get back to you, and it's like bare knuckle pickups. Like, if you actually email them, that's just an example of a good company. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and DiMarzio too. But it's like I wasn't. It's like I said, I wasn't asking for free shit. I didn't want anything like that. I didn't want an endorsement deal. I had a couple very basic questions, simple, that they could have answered for me, and nothing. And I've had people at much bigger companies, talk to me.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
So
like, that's just that's another dark side of the scene. Like, these companies, like, they're selling these things to just, you and I, just the basic people. It's like, we're the reason they're big. Don't ever forget who you are.
it would have taken a very simple. They could have answered my email with 2 sentences. It would have taken them 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I would have been happy. And they just wanted to fucking ignore me. So I'll be playing, bases with my own brand on them.
Well, that's gotta feel good though. Like, of all the bullshit,
it's cool.
and like,
I'm a narcissist. I'm a narcissist egomaniac. So that'll feed right into that.
That's okay. I mean, sometimes it's gotta
be. So somebody sees you playing this. Hey, what kind of bass is that? Oh, it's my own company. Here's the link. You can check them out. And, they're going to be affordable too. By the way, I mean
that's important.
They're going to be very affordable and customizable. So I mean, if you want different pickups, different electronics, hardware, all that will be interchangeable.
I think you're our first bass ad. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be listening to this and asking for a bass of some sort, like if they're sick of whatever and wanting to try something else. There you go.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
said,
the company's
we're here to help.
yeah,
not be the
cool.
dark side of the scene.
The company is going to be Altair, Altair,
There you
and
go.
yeah, it's if you like classic Fender style basses, that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to be reinventing the wheel or coming out with wild designs that you've never seen. It's going to be pretty traditional stuff, but because that's what I like, and that's basically it's all about me because I'm a narcissist asshole.
No, need more
but
bass players. It's okay.
so yeah, I mean, if you like that kind of bass, that's going to be for you.
Heck yeah, that's good. So let's see. I got a couple more minutes here. Brandon, you still alive?
Nope, I'm dead.
So any other like
Brad? Have I ever met you, Brandon? I don't know.
Probably
And
not.
what a terrible name to have in 2023. By the way, I'm sorry. So I know you said you're like more in the central part of the state.
Yeah, I'm just north of Kokomo.
Yeah, cool. All right. So I probably never run into you.
I don't think you have, as far as I know. I've only
I'm
ran,
really bad.
yeah.
I'm really bad about names and faces.
Well, his name is pretty common, like first and last name. Like there's a lot of rights everywhere.
I see a lot of stickers lately. Everyone telling me let's go. So I'm proud that.
Yeah. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm glad that I've got so much support lately. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but everyone's supporting me, so I'm
good
happy.
Job, buddy. Good job.
Well, you'll be going in a couple short years. So anyhow, I'm really bad at faces and names, so I could have come across you at some point. But like a dude at the last gig we did, I was walking through and he stops me. He goes, "Hey man, how are you? Good to see you. Long time." I don't know if this probably happened to you too at gigs. And I'm like, he goes, "You remember me?" I'm like, "Oh, no, man." And he like, so he stands up and he's like, and then he's like, "Huh?" And he's like, takes his hat off. "You remember me?" I'm like, "Dude, sorry." I mean, what do you can't lie to him in that situation. You can't go, "Oh yeah, how's your mom?" Well, no, dude, my mom's been dead for 20 years or whatever. You can't lie because it just takes you right down a bad path. So
yeah.
I had to go, "Dude, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't." And sorry, Rich, if you're listening, but I'll remember you next time. Maybe not. Probably not. No, probably
actually
won't.
like earlier you were saying something about you're into the supernatural ghost stuff, right?
Yeah, big time into anything supernatural, anything science fiction.
So Brandon has like another podcast, and if you've had any ghost encounters, I'm trying to hook him up with actual good stories about stuff.
Oh, we've done, my wife and I have done several tours of some known places. We were down in down at the Lotes house over Halloween. We were we did the one here in town in South Bend here that was just a fucking sham.
Which one's that one?
It was down, they were doing that around Halloween time. It was down on like Washington Street or something downtown. This dude, the supposedly like well-known ghost hunter dude on YouTube or some shit, was doing tours through it, and it was just, it was dumb.
I've been in the Bird Cell Mansion when we did our first video. I'm like, I didn't get any weird vibes, but I was told like there is, but again, I'm not prone to that stuff, but like I could see how it could be fucking haunted.
Well, see, I am skeptic actually, because it's not that I don't. I really I do these things because I don't want to be skeptic. I want shit to happen.
Yeah.
And it hasn't yet. It just hasn't. So, but I'm into anything that's science fiction, surrealism, science fact, whatever. I'm into a lot of that kind of stuff. And conspiracy.
You would fit right into my podcast because it's called Tinfoil Tales.
Oh fuck yeah. No, I'm
there you go.
I'm big into that type of thing.
Well, if you ever want to be a guest on his show, then you'll be able to talk to him again without me.
All
this
right.
time.
Well, cool.
No,
Well,
I've got a lot of weird shit on that one, from Bigfoots to aliens and all sorts of
What's the name of it? I need to check it out.
tinfoil tales.
Tin foils. All right, all right. You got a new subscriber if you're talking about that kind
yeah,
of stuff.
Yeah,
I'd
I,
say like this basically wasn't a bad one. It's just a lot of good
that
things.
podcast, I need to actually record some
Yeah.
more episodes because
You-
we've been so busy with this one that I've kind of neglected that one. But I release a new episode once a week on that one as well.
Oh, cool. Do you like the show The Y-Files on YouTube?
I actually don't really watch any of that stuff. I run podcasts,
Okay.
but I don't listen to them and I don't really watch them.
Okay. The Y-Files is my favorite YouTube show.
Yeah, my stuff's on YouTube, but most of it's all streaming. Like,
Yeah.
I've got YouTube videos, but again, like even with this episode that we're doing now with you, it'll just be audio. There's no video or anything on them. So,
Right. Cool.
but
Mm.
after YouTube decided to ban one of my videos, the last couple episodes I've actually
Ugh.
haven't uploaded on YouTube for that other
Yeah, it's
podcast.
terrible. I feel bad for people that would have to use YouTube as a platform. Just deal with that fucking bullshit.
Mhm.
But no,
Ugh.
the other podcast, I think I counted up, it's been downloaded like in 93 different countries so far. So it's actually doing pretty decent.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
We're-
I'll subscribe.
Heck yeah. We're talking about music, so nobody subscribes to like that in different countries.
Yeah, this one we're slowly gaining traction. It's been downloaded in I don't know how many different countries, but I've seen the little map that it shows me from the platform that hosts the service for me. We've been downloaded in a lot of places in Europe and South America so far, so that's not too bad.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Shout out to those people too.
Yeah, I don't know if they're subscribing, but they at least clicked on it, but like, what the fuck is this? I ain't listening to this and left.
This ain't a wrestling show.
Yeah. Well, they're probably a dark side of the scene, and they're thinking of. Now, I'm not out here to diss anyone, but someone messaged me and they thought this was for wrestling and also for like movie scenes. So they said that they're a filmmaker and they would like to come on and talk. They're also doing behind the scenes stuff for wrestling. I was like, yeah, we're strictly music, dude. Sorry.
I wouldn't mind talking about, well, not in this one, like talking about like almost like a movie review of like random movies, but that's for something else. Whatever.
I don't want to have another podcast, Ed. You can do that one on your own.
No, I don't want. No, I see how much work this one is. No, fuck that.
That's why I've neglected Tinfoil Tales, because we've been so busy interviewing on this one. That and a lot of the people I've interviewed have kind of left me questioning some of my other decisions. I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, if you've got anything else,
Cool.
I mean, we can talk about it. Or if not, I think we can wrap this one up. This is pushing close to 2 hours. So
Put the people out of their misery.
all of ours have went on for quite a long time, and I was
No,
like,
but
I don't listen
try
to
to make-
podcasts. So do they go on this long? I don't know.
I
how long.
do. Believe it or not, I do. If it's something interesting and it's a lot of engaging, like I listened to one for like 3 hours, and most of it was like it was the bare knuckle pickups one, and it's like shit I like, and I just like keep it going, keep it going. I want to hear dumb shit like this, but yeah, it depends on what it is, the subject matter. Anyway, I'm just rambling.
It's all good.
Uh,
Well, you
Well,
did
cool.
send us a song that was called Element 115, and you said the name of the project was Planet Vertigo.
Planet Vertigo. Yeah. Yeah. That kind of came about. I think that came about sort of during the Beast. The Dark Trilogy sort of took a hiatus because we had a drummer issue. And like I said, it was getting tough. So I just kind of like, we shelved it for a bit. And Planet Vertigo was kind of born out of that. Joe and I still the main two people in it. Joe from Dark Trilogy,
Mhm.
and then at some point Jeff Mitchell came into it on keyboards. He's a local keyboard and synth guru guy, and it's been going a little more in the synthy direction and keyboard direction too. So that project kind of ranges from full metal instrumental to funk fusion. So there's a little bit of everything in there. So that's we got a single out just I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, called Down Periscope, and then Element 115 was the single before that.
Nice.
Hell yeah. The one song's funky. I remember listening to them. It's got some funk in
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
that was the newest one. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. And we're working on and more too.
Mm.
We'll just kind of see how it goes, one song at a time.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really do a full album unless you do live shows, because you can't sell a CD unless you're at a show. At least that's my experience. Is that place to sell CDs is at shows. So
Are people still buying CDs though?
yeah. There's a you know, an audience, a core group of like physical media collectors out there. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak of in the last 2 years, but I mean, as of the last CD I made, there was still a bit of an interest in that, especially like I said at shows, because if they want to actually take something home with them, you know, that's you know where you can sell a CD at.
The last show that my band played was like 2 nights before the shutdown of everything, and we did sell 1 CD there. So that was. But we've had CDs and everything, and I always just assume people don't like us, we suck or something, because no one hardly ever bought any. But I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe it's because no one really buys CDs anymore, because most of the vehicles these days that people listen to, their music is streamed. I'm like,
I think most people anymore that do them just do them to have the physical thing. You know, me, I don't have a CD player anymore, but when my you know top favorite bands release something, I always get a CD of it. You know, I don't buy everything on CD like I used to, but
we got smart and put them on like they're not like a business card, it's like a plastic downloadable card, and the little thing folds out and you put the artwork on it, and I'm like,
yeah,
that was money well spent in my opinion. You still got the artwork and you still got, I don't know, to me it's like portable little things. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people still like to, they don't want to buy fucking air, you know, they want to hold something, you know, and feel like they get something for the money,
right?
You know.
Yeah. So anybody out there, if you want to, that's a good avenue to travel, is just have little download plastic card. I don't know, they're made out of plastic, they're not like flimsy ass.
Yeah, I've seen those. They either have like a code on them or something that you
a code or this
get the download.
And this one just flips out with a little memory stick.
So
so even if you hate the music, you can like erase it and put like nude pictures of yourself when you're done with it. But whatever.
I had just ordered cards, little square cards for this podcast. On the back of it has the QR scanning code that'll take them directly to the podcast. So
there you go.
I'm going to give some to Ed so he can pass them out to people at shows that he goes to.
Right. They'll be on lampposts and we'll get in trouble for like a permit or something. I don't know. Violation.
Pretty soon they're just going to upload it straight into your fucking brain. Just like
Neuralink.
Just straight into your skull.
Yeah, don't give the AI any ideas.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uploading AI bullshit music straight into your brain.
Oh shit.
No human involved.
Yeah.
There is something that I could inform you guys about when it comes to AI, but I won't, because by you knowing it, then it'll also damn you guys as well. So I'll save you the headache from that. I don't want to. I don't want to let all the.
You're gonna say that and then not say it.
Okay. Well, it'll get mad at me for not spreading its true beliefs to everyone.
Oh.
The AI overlords are taking over.
This could be part of your tinfoil podcast.
I was actually going to do an episode on this, but I never got around to doing it because I couldn't find anyone that actually wanted to come on and talk about it. They're afraid to. But on that note, I do appreciate you coming out and talking with us tonight. It's been a good conversation.
Fun. Heck yeah.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't get, darker with you, and
that's fine.
Talk about beating people's ass like Steve Dixon was talking about and all that. I couldn't quite go that far. I'm just not. It's just never really happened.
No, shout out to Steve. We love you, Steve. No, that was funny. He's had quite some adventures. I can't wait to hear what other ventures he has going on with like choke setter when they go over there.
I think we're gonna have him back on once they get done with their tour, and one of the other guys that are going out on tour. We have an interview coming up to release here soon. I think I'll have him back on later too after their tours to see what had funny stories they've had encountered out there.
Yeah.
But no, we that's the misconception I think a lot of people's writing off about the podcast lately is because it's called Dark Side of the Scene. They just think we're being all negative and causing problems, and who wants to hear about all the bullshit? We have to deal with it. Well, that's kind of the point, dickwads. Like, it's trying to bring light to the issues so maybe you don't have to deal with it anymore. But explaining that to people's like fucking talking to the wall.
Yeah, people are fucking turds, basically.
Truth.
They are. I mean, there's just, most people are just walking fucking turds.
Right. And that's the whole funny story in itself. But yeah, turds you can't flush. Even if the bathroom isn't right by the stage.
All right,
That
but
should be on my rider from now on. Bathrooms need to be located within 3 feet of the stage at all times, in case somebody's got a shit.
One of those porta potties.
Have to have a porta potty right on the edge of the stage.
Never mind. I'll stop because we could keep going and going. I just thought of another one. All right. Well, we can wrap it.
Right on.
Well, again, appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
Sure, man.
Song is called Element 115, and the band's name is what again?
Planet Vertigo.
Planet Vertigo. So, thank you guys.
Cool. See you, man.
See ya.
See ya.